Mark, the Great White Shark Potter!
Mark Potter, the Great White Shark, was a fearless knockout puncher who would fight anyone, anywhere and any time. From his professional boxing days, where he fought for the British title in a now legendary fight against Danny Williams, to his MMA fights and unlicensed boxing, Mark Potter was a dangerous man inside the ring. Mark also had his hands full running one of Britain's toughest pubs.
Our first pub is a haven for hard men with flat noses, which has seen more than its fair share of violence. The Tavern on the Hill in Walthamstow.
Reputation is a trouble pub, really, I suppose, you know, fighting and...
This has got a reputation of being a bloodbath, this place. I mean, I don't know how many times the carpet's been changed.
But he was also one of the nicest men in boxing and loved by everyone.
So overwhelming to see them. Love you, Mark.
So after a brief period boxing in the amateurs, Mark started his pro boxing career in 1997 with a debut win over Joe Bugner Jr. Mark was trained and looked after by Alan Mortlock and Charlie Smith, who were a very close team, with Charlie being Mark's father-in-law. Second fight saw him demolish Rob Alban. Mark showed his power, flooring the brave Alban 3 times in the first round.
Once again, Potter gets through the left hook and Alban hits the floor.
Mark racked up 14 wins with 2 losses and then secured a shot with the British title against Danny Williams in what would become a legendary fight. Mark was looking strong and seemingly getting to Williams early on when Williams' shoulder dislocated.
2 titles, 1 ticket. Somebody back out again, I think. The shoulder's gone, it's come out again. He can't fight.
Amazingly, Danny carried on through the pain with 1 arm and scored one of the most amazing knockouts in boxing history. Mark had a tougher than expected fight against veteran Michael Murray, both landing uppercuts. Then Mark suffered a loss to Alexander Vasiliev at Wembley Conference Centre. I actually fought on the same bill, having my pro debut against Mal Rice. Main event was Danny Williams versus Julius Francis II. I'd also had a sparring session with Mark around the same time, and as I was a novice pro, very new to the game, Mark decided that we just do a very light spar, no gym wars, which I always respected him for and shows the good character of Mark.
I'm not a vicious man when I spar. I enjoy doing it, I try things out. If you get caught, you get caught, you know.
It was around this same time that Mark also invited me down to his pub in Walthamstow as they were filming an episode of Britain's Toughest Pubs. I couldn't make it, but it was definitely my sort of night with a mixture of boxers and villains there. So Mark ended his pro career with a record of 21 wins with 14 knockouts. Mark had 7 wins inside the first round, including this win over Big Neil Kirkwood. So after leaving professional boxing, Mark still had that desire to fight. So he went to fight on Alan Mortlock's IBA unlicensed circuit.
He had about 25-30 fights for the IBA. He was unbeaten. He's just an all-round warrior. You know, same as Dominic Negus.
Mark was unbeaten in the IBA and a massive fan favourite as always, with his exciting, aggressive style, always looking for the big knockout. Amongst his many victories, Mark beat my old opponent, Dave Clark, in round 2, which was exactly the same result that I'd got 6 or 7 years earlier. Hi everyone, so if you made it this far, it would mean the world to me if you would like and share the video. Please leave a comment, and I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button, as most of my regular viewers aren't subscribed yet. So thank you all so much. Back to Mark. Mark had a handful of MMA fights, winning 5 out of 7. His boxing ability, speed, power and aggression usually being too much for his game opponents, as seen here when he was too much for Mark Walker after detonating some devastating punches. One thing about Mark, he wasn't scared to mix it up and trade with people. So away from the fighting, Mark had a loving family and so many friends. He was very close with Noel Tierney and Mickey Theo. And Mark's good heart was shown once again when he took part in a charity boxing match against Danny Mardell, who was born with Down syndrome. The match was in aid of a cancer support charity. And thanks again Liam Galvin for the clips. There's a link in the description to the full video. It's just brilliant to see Mark's kindness. It was always nice to see Mark, and the last couple of times I saw him were at Liam Galvin and Yvette Rowland's film premiere of Killer Bitch in London, which was a really, really great night. So many faces attending, people like Mark, Joe Egan, Robin Reed, Norman Buckland, Roy Shaw and so many more. The last time I saw Mark was at Roy Shaw's funeral. Sadly, in 2022, Mark was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer. And with his trademark bravery, he fought it until the very end, refusing to give in. Mark was bravely fighting the cancer, still laughing and joking.
Like a race between two thongs. We are two champions. Black and white minstrel.
Ebony and ivory, we're out.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But sadly, in 2022, Mark passed away. Mark Potter was not only a fantastic fighter with speed, power, aggression, great boxing skills, but he was amazingly brave both in the ring and outside the ring when he fought his biggest battle. And above everything else, Mark was a good man with a big heart who was loved by all that knew him.